promontory. The second reason we can see it is because, frankly, this mountain collapsed in on itself. The story starts at about 7,700 years ago, where out of the north side of this mountain, we had a huge column of ash and fire and gas shoot straight into the sky about 30,000 feet, about as high as an airplane can go. And the ash and the pumice and the gases just kept coming and coming and coming and coming, coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. Okay, I'll stop that. To give you a little bit of perspective, Mount St. Helens released half a cubic mile of material. Mount Mazama, this mountain, released 12 cubic miles of material, 100 times what came out of Mount St. Helens. And having a 12,000 foot tall mountain on top of a half-empty magma chamber, basically, like an architect put it, made it structurally unstable. And the top of the mountain started to collapse in on itself. And that collapsing created a crack all the way around the summit. And that crack erupted as well in a phenomenon called a pyroclastic flow. Basically a superheated avalanche of ashes, gas, and pumice that rolled down all the sides of this mountain. It burned at 1,850 degrees Fahrenheit and rolled down the sides of the mountain at 450 miles an hour. To the west, it burned down a forest and pushed it down, burying it 200 feet deep in ash and pumice. You can still pull chunks of 7,000-year-old burned trees out of the ash banks along Highway 230. To the north there, it dammed up a small stream to create diamond lakes. So we get two lakes out of one eruption. And last but not least, we had one of these avalanches go up and over 8,929 feet of Mount Scott. So another huge amount of material came out of that magma chamber, and as those avalanches were rolling down the sides of the mountain, the top of the mountain was dropping 3 to 5 miles down into that magma chamber. Now how long, you may say, did that take? Well, the initial eruption took maybe a week. Very short period of time. The collapse, just a few hours to a couple of days. Yeah, pretty amazing. Now, that wasn't the end of the eruption. You would expect it to kind of destroy its own plumbing, but it didn't. We have volcanic eruptions happening in the next 2,000 years. You've got some domes on the bottom of the lake. Miriam Cone is out there at 498 feet under the water. We've got, on the other side of Wizard Island, we've got Daysite Dome, which erupted about 5,000 years ago. It's only about 90 feet under the water. And then the only one above the water is Wizard Island, which is a cinder cone. And what that is basically you've got a lot of gas pressure and a little bit of magma. It's like when you shake up a soda and pop the top on it. All that gas pressure forces that magma high into the air in little chunks. And by the time it gets back down to the ground again, it's almost fully solidified. So I call Wizard Island my little gravel rock pile. But what's amazing is Wizard Island is brand new land that was not there 6,000 years ago. And we'll talk a little bit more about that. We're going to head on forward to the shallowest part of the lake over here at Skeld Channel. And I'm hoping we can see the bottom of the lake from there. So